Personalized medicine is an industry that is worth $528 billion, growing at an annual rate of 8.2 CAGR. This industry altogether is an industry that many of you guys would benefit from, or at least know a loved one who is directly involved in the alternative, which would be more of a broadened generic healthcare, aka the example I'm alluding at here is with mental health. A lot of people in the world suffer from mental health, and kind of the therapy solution right now is just throw a bunch of drugs at you and figure out which one actually is going to help you with whatever you're suffering from. Enter PoSciDon DAO. This DeSci project is changing the game and set to expand and explode the personalized healthcare industry within the decentralized science narrative. Today in this video, we're going to go through PoSciDon DAO, a token which literally just went live 2 or 3 days ago in the month of December. I'm an advisor for this project, and I could not be more excited for what they have going on here. Now, while PoSciDon DAO is not directly working on anything in the mental health realm, it's a really good way to shape your understanding of what personalized healthcare and personalized medicine is. Because right now, the entire healthcare industry is focused really just on broad therapies that is a one-size-fits-all, and that's just not how it works. Anyone who is familiar with genetic therapies and just genetics as a whole understands that each and every person has a completely unique and distinct genetic blueprint which is specific to you, and therapies and drugs and medicine should be catered specifically for you if we're going to expect the best kind of results. And so let's get into this video here today. I'm very excited to go over it actually, but PoSciDon DAO, PoSciDon DAO. Everyone knows what a DAO is, a decentralized autonomous organization. It is what makes up most of the DeSci projects that are in this space, at least right now. It is basically just a company that doesn't have a board of directors. Instead, everyone gets to contribute to the governance. However, one of the key things that I want to highlight for PoSciDon DAO, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty a little bit later, is that they've kind of reworked the DAO governance model to actually incentivize participants to vote with their Sci tokens. They have a dual token incentivization model, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So they are revolutionizing research funding for personalized medicine. And today, actually, they had an article go live on a Cointelegraph, which kind of went through what it is that they're doing. And I want to read that for you guys here today. So, a vision for advancing patient care. Personalized medicine, which tailors treatments to patients based on genetic and molecular profiles, offers a path towards a more effective therapies and better patient outcomes. This field has been hindered by limited funding and systematic inefficiencies. PoSciDon DAO's mission is to address these challenges by providing resources to explore more novel approaches such as immunotherapies and gene cell therapies. By funding early stage pre-patented research, PoSciDon DAO seeks to drive innovation from academic labs to commercial viability. Very exciting things here. They're coming in to fill a gap in the market, which is desperately needed if we're going to actually advance humanity and meet what I think is the inevitable future in which you go to your doctor's office and you get your annual checkup or your annual physical and you get a little cheek swab. They sequence your DNA or they pull your blood. They sequence your DNA and they're looking for key biomarkers that are indications, biomarkers being like proteins that are floating around in your blood, which are byproducts of specific diseases. And so if you can pick up on these biomarkers early, we can give you tailored therapies to help prevent the spread or the onset of said disease. And this goes for everything, even cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes. There's a lot of things that are impacted and can be worked on if you catch them early enough. And so empowering community governance, PoSciDon DAO was what we talked about a moment ago. So I'll save this section because I want to get deeper into it when we go through the tokenomics and kind of my predictions and everything for them. But they're building out partnerships in decentralized science already. So again, the token's only been live for like 3 days at the time that I'm recording this video, and yet they have already been included into the Health Data Alliance with Axon Data Lake, and Hippocrat. So they are already in a group of very well-known DeSci projects. I mean, how many of you guys, let me know right now in the comments, how many of you guys like Axon, Data Lake, and Hippocrat? I know we got a lot of Axon and Data Lake fanboys. Hippocrat is one of the projects, well, I've interviewed all three of them actually, funny enough, because this is a DeSci focused page. So if you're not subscribed or following along with this journey and you're interested in DeSci, you're doing yourself a disservice. Definitely take a moment and hit that follow button. You like that shameless self-shill? So it's underscoring its commitment to advancing the DeSci movement. More partnerships and collaborations will be announced in the very near future. PoSciDon DAO has been building in the space for the better part of a year, if not even more, but I've seen them all over social media. They are very well connected at this point. So about PoSciDon DAO, by combining blockchain technology with scientific innovation, PoSciDon DAO is establishing a collaborative platform for research and personalized medicine. This approach aims to accelerate discoveries and democratize access to resulting treatments, benefiting patients and healthcare systems globally. The PoSciDon DAO team includes experts in virology, immunology, oncology, epidemiology, and of course, Web3. With in-house experts and contributions from its community members, the DAO can identify which projects have the most potential to impact the personalized medicine field. Very, very exciting stuff coming out of PoSciDon DAO. And again, this is the article I got that little source from with the $530 billion total addressable market for personalized healthcare. Right now, PoSciDon DAO is sitting at a $7 million market cap. So when I say this is a micro cap, it is a micro cap. I mean it. Now the FDV is 50 million, but we'll get into the tokenomics to explain how they're going to get to that fully diluted valuation. Remember, circulating market cap matters more for valuing a project than FDV, but you have to take into account how they're going to get all the tokens in circulation. But I'm gonna save that part for last. I know everyone waits for that part and everyone's excited for it, but we're gonna save it for a little bit longer. So this is from their blog post, and we don't need to read all of it, but I want to showcase this image for you guys because it's a good visual representation for the entire ecosystem. So PoSciDon DAO's ecosystem, you see PoSciDon DAO right in the center here. You have up at the top scientists. So PoSciDon DAO votes on different scientific initiatives and can fund these different initiatives. These scientists are expected to give proposals to the DAO so that we can vote on them. And in results of the funding, the IP and the data gets given back to PoSciDon DAO. Now, that is the model that almost all the DAOs use. PoSciDon DAO is using a unique model for tokenizing the intellectual property through something called WeDia. Instead of idea, it's WeDia, because they're taking the I out of inventor and they're replacing it with we. So it's a Wenventor. I don't know, but I like the idea of it. Instead of copywriting everything, effectively, they're saying they're copylefting it. They're making it accessible to the public. And instead of just having everything be siloed and like really restricted and gated, which is what happens in the current industry, which has its pros and cons, they're trying to make it more fair and equitable for every participant in the network. And so I think it's a novel approach. And they're not at the stage yet where they're actually funding any research. That's coming in Q1 of 2025. It's on their roadmap right now, but I just wanted to put it on your radar. All of the links and everything will be in the description of the video, so you guys can check it out for yourself and learn a little bit more about each thing. The other part of the ecosystem is the investors, of course. Not to be confused with this investor, but the investors. PoSciDon DAO will be giving investors DeSci tokens, and the investors give in return funds to be used for the scientists and the science. The PoSciDon DAO will also be giving Po. Po is a non-transferable token. So I've already mentioned it so many times. Let's get right into explaining the dual token model here. Let me go to my face for it because I'm not going to be able to find So they have two tokens. They have the DeSci token and they have the Po token. The Po token is given to people who vote in the governance rounds for the different proposals. So if you're a DAO member, you are going to stake your DeSci tokens, vote on proposals that are submitted to the network, just like any other DAO, and then in return for voting, you will get Po tokens in accordance with how much DeSci you have staked for your vote. Those Po tokens are non-transferable, but they are redeemable for either more DeSci, tickets to conferences, exclusive merch, or a litany of different things that, again, the DAO and the whole community will be able to decide on. But it's a unique way to actually get people to contribute, because one of the problems we see with DAOs is that nobody actually votes. Everyone's just holding on to their tokens and hoping. But if there's a monetary or physical product incentive behind actually voting, more people are going to be inclined to do just that. Onwards, we see that the ecosystem can license out the IP and the data, which is generated from the scientists, to third parties in exchange for some funds and some money to fill up the ecosystem. And then they have contractors, which of course you pay the contractor to do different services. This could be things like graphic design and stuff. It can really be a litany of anything. Like I'm sure they're going to need the labs and everything will be contracted out. So they'll give funds from the DAO, and in exchange you get any kind of services. And then they have the last part, donors, anyone who wants to donate into the DAO ecosystem. So hopefully you have a good understanding of that entire ecosystem there. It's really novel. I'm a fan of it. I think it's a good approach, and it's a like the pro and con of not being first to market is that you get to see the problems that all the other DAOs are going through, come up with ideas on how to fix it, and try your next iteration and evolve and grow upon the space. So I kind of view PoSciDon DAO honestly as like a level 2 to the DAOs within DeSci. You have the core DAOs that everyone's familiar with and the model that they're all using, and now we're kind of evolving and trying to build upon it to create something even bigger and more smooth, if that makes sense. This launch with PoSciDon DAO is coming at a really glorious time. And just briefly, I'm going to showcase the Bitcoin market, because really the success of a lot of projects when they're altcoins have to do with how Bitcoin is behaving. And so when Bitcoin is going down, you don't really want to be launching any new projects, because they're going to just get swept under the rug and you're not going to be able to ride the momentum and the hype that is generated, right? We saw, and I'm going to mention Axon because the Axon founders are advisors to PoSciDon DAO, but Axon launched, I believe it was somewhere around here in the last pump for Bitcoin, and they were really able to capitalize on a massive hype cycle, which solidified them in everyone's mind as one of the leading DAOs in DeSci. And so while it was painful to wait for any new token launches and any new projects, but the smart founders waited to launch until the wave of momentum in the industry was behind them again and was able to ride this wave. So PoSciDon DAO launching as, again, Bitcoin is kind of cooling off from its massive pump and Bitcoin dominance is starting to fall, we get to actually capitalize off of the attention that is coming into the DeSci sector. They really did a killer job when launching the DeSci token. Again, a 50 million FDV, $7 million market cap. We're holding strong. The token holders are holding very strong. Now, we'll go back into their website actually, because we're not done yet. I want to go through the token allocation so that you understand that there's only 18.91 million tokens to ever be in circulation. This is symbolic based off of a huge milestone when it comes to the space of personalized medicine and genetic therapies. In the year 1891, I forget what it is that happened. They have it in their white paper actually, so let me go to their white paper really quickly and can do Control F. 1891. In 1891, Dr. William Coley was the first ever scientist to use an immunotherapy based on the bacteria to treat a patient with a range of advanced stage tumors that were too big to be recovered through surgery. After treatment, the seemingly treatable patient was cured of his tumors and resumed his regular life. So although Dr. Cooley did not receive credits he deserved during his lifetime for this remarkable finding, he is considered the father of immunotherapy. Therefore, 1891 marks the year that the first patient ever was cured of cancer using immunotherapy. The year 1981 will be a part of PoSciDon DAO forever, as the maximum total supply of Psi will be set to 18.91 million, which is big and important to pay attention to when you consider the kind of research PoSciDon DAO is going to be focusing on in the very beginning stages. So PoSciDon DAO funds research that focuses on identifying biomarkers, like we talked about, that can predict treatment responses, or on developing personalized therapies for life-altering diseases, including but not limited to cancer, Alzheimer's, and diabetes. So this is cool if you think of different DAOs and different partnerships that they could be getting. If they're going to focus on cancer, Alzheimer's, and diabetes, Alzheimer's sounds a lot like Cerebrum DAO, and diabetes sounds a lot like WellShare. So I would expect some good partnerships lined up from PoSciDon DAO in the not too distant future. Is there anything else? I'm trying to think real quick. The roadmap is important, of course, but we've gone through Q4 already, and we talked about WeCura. Q1 of 2025, they'll be auditing the token manager and governance for the smart contracts, deploy their DApp on base chain, open funding proposals, and fund the initial cohort research projects in order to develop out WeCura, which is, again, the tokenization of their intellectual property. So very exciting moment for the DeSci space and for personalized healthcare medicine as a whole. As we know, DeSci right now is sitting at about $1.3 billion in total market cap. This is where we get into the juicy stuff that you guys really love. I expect to see decentralized science pushing that $200 billion threshold in total market cap by the end of this cycle, if we get the full 4-year cycle. PoSciDon DAO is going to be one of those projects that I could see pushing a lot higher than where they're currently at. So they're at $7 million market cap with $2.60 token. So I would not be surprised to see us shoot up to that $400 or $500 million market cap during peak euphoria of the bull run, which puts us up at what, $100 per Psi token, plus or minus. Very, very rough estimates for stuff like this. It's anyone's best guess, and it should not be taken as financial advice. That is for sure. Another thing that should be for sure is that time is your most valuable asset. Hopefully this was worth investing it into, and I will see you guys in the next video.